The acceptance letter to Northwood State University came with a list of recommendations, and right at the top was a personal laptop. I was about to ask my parents for a MacBook when a few lines of text flickered into existence, floating in the air right in front of my face. Here we go. This is where the side character, Leo, starts his downfall. He demands a $1,500 laptop and spirals from there. His parents are clueless, too. They think just getting into college is the finish line. They have no idea he's about to blow thousands on fraternity parties and spring break trips this year alone. Forget the money. He starts flunking his classes. He's obsessed with keeping up with everyone else, and whenever he doesn't get what he wants, he throws a fit, screaming that his parents don't deserve to have kids. After graduation, to follow the main female character to the same city, he demands they pay over $30,000 for a useless one-year master's program abroad. When his parents refuse, he goes on a hunger strike and threatens suicide, and ends up actually getting himself killed. This guy's obsession is terminal. The side character. Are they talking about me? A shiver went down my spine. Under my parents' expectant gazes, the words on the tip of my tongue twisted into something else entirely. I need a notebook. For taking notes. My mom clenched her jaw, determined. A laptop, right? Okay, I know all college students need a laptop. I'll make sure you get one. My dad chimed in. Whatever the other kids have, you'll have too. I'll work overtime. Don't you worry. I spoke carefully. No, I just mean a regular $5 spiral notebook. For writing down lecture notes. My parents stared at me, completely baffled. Honestly, before I saw those floating comments, I was buzzing with excitement. But after reading that horrifying script of my future, the excitement evaporated into a cold dread. The pop-up text claimed my entire world was a cheesy romance novel. The female lead is my next-door neighbor and childhood friend, Chloe Martin. The male lead is the campus heartthrob in our program, Ethan Cole. And to make Ethan look suave, talented, and sophisticated, the story needed me. A foil, a stupid and illogical antagonist. The story is just beginning. It starts with me scoring way higher on my SATs than anyone expected, getting into Northwood State, the same school and major as Chloe and Ethan. My parents had promised that if I got into a good college, I could ask for anything. I'd always been jealous of Chloe's sleek MacBook, so I was planning to ask for the same one. But my dad is a city bus driver, and my mom stocks shelves at supermarket. They work themselves to the bone, and after bills and my tuition, there's barely anything left. Buying their college-bound son a $1,500 laptop was a huge stretch for them. It's not that I couldn't do the math. I was just blinded by vanity. If that laptop was the first step toward my tragic end, then there was no way in hell I was going to ask for it. A budget Chromebook for a few $100 would work just fine. Hell, I'd use pen and paper if it meant I didn't have to be the story's pathetic, villainous side piece. Two, my parents were both amused and confused when they heard I just wanted a spiral notebook. Honey, what's gotten into you? You can get a notebook at any corner store. Exactly, my dad added. Just tell us what kind of laptop you want. Don't worry about the price. Getting into college is a huge achievement. We don't want you to feel left out or looked down on by your classmates. I made a fist like a motivational poster. I just want a regular notebook. I need to focus on studying. A laptop will just be a distraction for video games. The truth is, I suck at games. My reflexes are too slow. I still use the hunt and peck method to type. Chloe, who lives next door, used to laugh at my clumsy typing. Because of that, I convinced myself she was into me. I'd been secretly crushing on her for years, acting like her personal doormat. According to the floating comments, once we got to college, Chloe and Ethan would hit it off immediately. Their passionate, dramatic, on-again, off-again romance would have readers swooning. And I, the toxic and clueless third wheel, was just a pawn in their game. Sometimes, when Chloe and Ethan were fighting, she would deliberately get close to me just to make Ethan jealous. And I, like an idiot, would believe her act and go out of my way to antagonize Ethan, causing him all sorts of problems. In the end, Chloe would drop the bomb on me, telling me she only ever loved Ethan and that I should stop being delusional and get lost. The humiliation would crush me, leading me to completely abandon my studies. After college, Chloe and Ethan would both go on to prestigious grad schools abroad. I, having flunked half my classes, wouldn't even get a diploma. Unable to find a real job, I'd end up delivering for DoorDash. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, my tragic fate as the side character wasn't over. Desperate to follow Chloe, I'd throw tantrums, demanding my parents pay for a $30,000 cash grab master's program abroad. When they told me they just couldn't afford it, I refused to accept it. I'd threatened suicide multiple times to manipulate them, and one day, I'd accidentally slip and fall from the balcony, ending my pathetic life for good. Me? This author really has it out for me. Seeing how adamant I was about not wanting an expensive gift, my parents were a mix of proud and heartbroken. That night, I overheard them talking in their room. He knows we don't have a lot of money. He's being so considerate. Honey, don't you worry. I'm going to work harder, find some extra shifts, and make more money for our boy. Okay, we'll do it together. I tiptoed back to my room, a new resolve hardening inside me. I have to protect my life. I refuse to be some toxic, brainless side character. For the rest of the summer, I spent my days on YouTube and Coursera getting a head start on my major. Chloe called me a few times to hang out, but I gritted my teeth and turned her down every time. The floating comments were merciless. What's up with the side character? The female lead invites him out, and he ignores her? Normally, he'd be scrambling over like a puppy dog. This is out of character. He's still got that childhood friend confidence. He doesn't feel threatened yet. Just wait until the male lead shows up, then he'll start competing. But he didn't even ask for the expensive laptop. It feels like something's changed. A few days later, my mom suddenly asked me, Leo, I was talking to Chloe's mom, and she said everyone in college joins clubs and tries to learn a new skill. She signed Chloe up for a public speaking workshop. Maybe you should go too. The comments flared up again. Whoa, that workshop isn't cheap. It's got to be at least $1,000. This is where he starts getting obsessed with talents. Whatever Chloe likes about the male lead, he tries to learn it himself. He even learns to knit tote bags later. He completely drains his family savings. Honestly, the side character's parents are part of the problem. They can't afford it, so why do they stretch themselves so thin just to keep up appearances? Exactly. Spoiling your kid like that is basically ruining him. People without a higher education just don't understand these things. Seeing them attack my parents made my chest tighten with anger. My parents love me. They love me unconditionally. They haven't done anything wrong. They just want to give me the best they possibly can. If anyone's at fault, it's me. I shook my head firmly. I'm not going. There are so many free resources online, tons of courses that don't cost a dime. I can teach myself. My mom hesitated. Are you sure? Yeah, Mom, I said earnestly. Everyone wants to have some cool talent to show off or to impress someone. I don't need that. I just need to pay attention in class. If I don't work hard and learn how to make a living, 100 talents won't do me any good. My words were so firm that my mom was taken aback. Okay then, I was worried you'd feel left out since Chloe is going. But if you're sure, then we'll just forget it. I knew it. She was just trying to protect my feelings. She must have noticed my petty, competitive side. A wave of sadness washed over me, reinforcing my decision to focus on my studies. The comments in the air went haywire. Did the side character really just say that? Has he become self-aware? Actually, the female lead only wanted him to go, so she'd have someone to fetch her coffee and run errands. With him gone, she'll have to buy her own bagels. He's probably just putting on show. It's because his family is poor. I bet he really wants to go. Dude, shut up. You're just a troll. So, in Chloe's eyes, I really was just a convenient simp she could order around. What a fool I've been. Taking a deep breath, I pushed down the flicker of pain in my chest, ignored the useless chatter, and went back to my books. That night, I got a text from Chloe. You go into hiding or something? You've been quiet. My heart skipped a beat. For Chloe and I had been neighbors for years. She was smart, beautiful, and had a voice that could melt butter. It was no surprise I had a crush on her. Maybe I was just a fool, always chasing after her. It was bad enough that she looked down on me, but to have my parents insulted because of it was unbearable. Thank God for these magical pop-up comments. They were the slap in the face I desperately needed. After a moment's hesitation, I put my phone down and pretended I never saw the text. A few days later, Chloe's mom came over to give my mom some homemade lasagna, and she brought Chloe with her. Chloe waltzed into my room like she owned the place and tapped me on the head. What's wrong with you lately? Why are you ignoring everyone? I looked at her perfectly crafted face, fighting the instinct to please her, and said flatly, I'm not. Chloe frowned, tapping her chin. You're not? Are you on some new medication or something? For a split second, I wavered. Was I really going to throw away a friendship with someone I'd liked for so long because of some floating text? But then I remembered the comments insulting my parents, and my resolve hardened. I'm busistudying. Great, Chloe said. Then come to the public speaking workshop with me. The instructor is amazing. He can totally fix your pronunciation and help you project your voice. She launched into a full-blown sales pitch. When she finally finished, I said quietly, Chloe, my family isn't rich. We can't afford workshops like that. You should just go by yourself. Chloe's face turned pale, then red. Leo Kelly, you don't have to say it like that. It's the truth, I said softly. With that, I walked back out to the living room, picked up a book, and hid my face behind it. Chloe stood there, speechless for a moment, then said, Fine, I don't know what's gotten into you. Text me when you're back to normal. After she left, I muttered under my breath, You're the one with the problem. Your whole family has a problem. 5 move-in day. The night before, Chloe had texted me. Same time tomorrow. Don't forget my bagel. For 3 years of high school, I had woken up 20 minutes early every single day to buy Chloe her favorite everything bagel with cream cheese, and then we'd walk to school together. Her mom, feeling guilty, would often send over leftovers. And every time, I'd blush and say, It's no problem, Mrs. Martin. I have to get breakfast anyway. It's on the way. The truth was, I hated bagels. I did it all for Chloe. Since I was determined to draw a line in the sand, I could reclaim those 20 minutes. When I arrived at our first class the next morning, Chloe was nowhere in sight, but my eyes immediately landed on the male lead, Ethan Cole. He really was handsome, tall, with clear skin and an effortless coolness. The plain white t-shirt and black jeans that looked frumpy on me looked like high fashion on him. Damn, the difference was painfully obvious. I tore my eyes away, chanting in my head, Not my business, not my business, not my business. Just then, Chloe breezed into the classroom. Her eyes met Ethan's, and she stopped for a fraction of a second. The comments erupted in a frenzy. This is it. The first meeting between the male and female leads. They're finally in the same class. It's love at first sight. He's so handsome. She's so beautiful. What a gorgeous couple. Actually, they've noticed each other on campus before and were both interested. Wow, this is a classic scene. Sure enough, as Chloe walked past Ethan's desk, she accidentally knocked his textbook onto the floor. They started talking. I lowered my head, pretending not to see. My roommate, who knew Chloe and I were from the same town, nudged me and whispered, Chloe and the campus heartthrob are hitting it off. You jealous? I answered coolly. Don't start rumors. Chloe and I are just acquaintances. My roommate looked shocked. You're not going to pursue her anymore? I shrugged. Nope. I didn't bother explaining and went back to my textbook. Suddenly, a shadow fell over my desk. Chloe was standing there, her face cold and annoyed. Why weren't you waiting for me outside the women's dorm? And where's my bagel? At the word bagel, my roommate shot me a teasing look as if to say, Just acquaintances, huh? But you still buy her breakfast? I rolled my eyes and said directly, I didn't get you one. From now on, you can buy your own. Chloe's expression shifted. What is your problem? You were weird all summer, and now you're doubling down on it? Is this ever going to end? Doubling down? All I wanted was to stop being her simp and stay out of her and Ethan's love story. Was that so wrong? Without looking up, I said, I'm not buying you breakfast anymore. We're in college now. I need to focus on my studies. Chloe stomped her foot in frustration. Fine. Fine. Then we're not friends anymore. Don't you come crying to me when you regret this. In the past, Chloe often used the we're not friends line to scare me, and every time, I would pathetically beg for her forgiveness. This time, I hid the sadness in my eyes and said in a low voice, Fine by me. Who's afraid of who? 6, and just like that, Chloe and I were done. It stung a little, but mostly, I felt a sense of relief. To avoid Chloe and Ethan as much as possible, I stuck to a small circle of friends and spent the rest of my time studying. The coursework was challenging, and I had no intention of ending up jobless like the comments predicted. After a week of burying my head in books, I was doing well. The professor even made me a course representative. Meanwhile, Chloe and Ethan were moving fast. Their relationship was accelerating like a rocket. They were always sitting together in class and walking shoulder to shoulder to the dining hall. They were both well known in our department, the campus beauty and the heartthrob. So rumors quickly started flying that they were dating and how perfect they were for each other. A few months ago, this would have broken my heart. But with how difficult my classes were, I didn't have the energy to care. My roommate asked me, his voice full of gossip, "You really gave up on Chloe?" He said it with such dramatic flair. You'd think I'd given up on life itself. Must be a simp, written on my forehead. I pursed my lips. We're just classmates. There's nothing to give up on. I meant it. Just then, I heard a sharp scoff from behind me. It was Chloe. She was standing there, glaring at me with a dark expression, having clearly overheard what I said. I buried my face deeper in my book, pretending not to see her. By the afternoon, a new rumor was spreading. Chloe had confessed her feelings to Ethan on the campus green, and he had happily accepted. The comments started rolling again. The main characters are together already? This feels kind of boring. Yeah, it's so normal. There's no drama, no tension. Honestly, doesn't the male lead seem a bit fake? He acts nice, but he's totally clueless and doesn't know how to treat a girl right. Yup, boring. So boring. If this keeps up, I'm dropping this story. I glanced at the comments, completely speechless. So, without me playing the villain and stirring up trouble, their story isn't interesting. But why the hell should I sacrifice my future for their entertainment? We're all adults in college. They can date whoever they want. My family doesn't have money. For people like me, the sunk cost of failure is much higher, and I have to own that. If I let myself get distracted and didn't study, I knew I would regret it for the rest of my life. Perhaps influenced by the plot, the next day, our academic advisor suddenly appointed 2 more course representatives. He lumped me, Ethan, and Chloe together. The 3 of us were summoned to his office. The comments went wild. Now, this is more like it. The classic scene is coming. The main couple has a small fight. To make the male lead jealous, the female lead accidentally touches the side character's hand and asks him for help, making the side character's heart flutter. Later, the female lead is heartbroken and gets sick after walking in the rain. The male lead regrets everything and holds her tight, confessing his true feelings. And the side character gets totally humiliated by the male lead in public. Me? What kind of monster wrote this story? I wanted to find them and fight them. Sure enough, once we were in the advisor's office, Chloe suddenly turned to me, reaching out her hand in a plea for help. Leo, that recruitment poster. How do I design it? Seeing her hand about to touch mine, I panicked and grabbed the nearest object on the desk, a pair of scissors, and jabbed it forward. The tip of the scissors poked the back of Chloe's hand, drawing a drop of blood. Ow! Chloe cried out in pain. What are you doing? Why would you do that? She sobbed. I froze, shocked at what I'd done. Ethan immediately scooped Chloe up in a princess carry and rushed her to campus health services. Feeling a little guilty, I mumbled, sorry about that. I'll just do the poster myself. It was self-defense, technically. Nestled in Ethan's arms, Chloe shot me 2 venomous glares. I had definitely, thoroughly crossed the line with her now. Ethan, seeing how badly I'd injured Chloe, didn't say a word to me. Instead, he seemed to be enjoying the moment, soaking in the admiring glances from other students as he played the hero. At lunch, he even approached me with a friendly smile. Want to grab a bite together? Honestly, I had nothing against him, but the comments kept mentioning how I would frame him for things later. Things like deflating his basketball, putting laxatives in his food, throwing away his homework. Seriously, what kind of childish idiot would do that? To be safe, I want to keep my distance. No thanks, I said. I'm meeting someone else. Ethan looked a little awkward, but smiled it off. All right, maybe next time. As soon as he walked away, the comments started scrolling. The side character is just pure jealous. Yep, he was so rough with the female lead because he's playing hard to get. Our male lead is so sweet and handsome. The side character is just insecure. Later on, he's going to team up with Roxy Vance to frame both the male and female leads. Playing hard to get? What kind of garbage takes are these? And who the hell is Roxy Vance? I'm so done. Is it impossible for this story to move forward without me? After classes, I was heading back to my dorm when I saw Chloe standing by the entrance. Her arms were crossed, and she was watching me with a dark, unreadable expression. She'd been coming to the men's dorms pretty often lately, but it was always late, so we rarely ran into each other. From the way she was standing there today, it was obvious she was waiting for me. I frowned and tried to walk past her, pretending I didn't see her. Chloe stuck out an arm to block me. Can we talk? I stopped. About what? She took a deep breath, her eyes a swirling mix of emotions. After a long pause, she finally spoke. Leo, what is wrong with you? Hurting me is one thing, but why are you ignoring Ethan? Are you really that jealous of him? Me? My mouth hung open. I was stunned silent. This person is certifiably insane. Chloe grabbed my elbow, her voice low and serious. Yes, I'm dating Ethan. I wasn't planning on getting with him so soon, but it was you. You're the one who pushed me to him. I let out a long, weary sigh. Chloe, if you're sick, go see a doctor. Don't let it affect your grades. But she was completely serious. Leo, stop avoiding this. I've known how you felt about me for a long time. And to be honest, I did consider you. Seeing my stunned expression, she adopted a worldly wise tone. If it weren't for Ethan, I might have said yes to you. But it was you. You were the one who acted out and pushed me away. And now, it's too late for regrets. The floating comments reappeared. The female lead is just trying to warn the side character not to be delusional anymore and not to hold a grudge against the male lead. She's the best girlfriend ever. Are you serious? I feel like this is a terrible move. It's just going to create more animosity for the male lead. Exactly. If she hadn't said anything, the side character might have moved on, saying this will only make it harder for him to let go. I rubbed my temples, at a complete loss for words. Chloe, with an imagination like that, you should be making TikToks. She'd already written, directed, and starred in a whole soap opera in her head. She could probably produce a whole series. Seeing the disdain on my face, Chloe got angry. What's that supposed to mean? Say it to my face. Looking at her narcissistic and self-important expression, the last remnants of my crush finally withered and died. This was the person I'd liked for 3 years? I must have been blind. I pushed her hand away and said, word by word, think whatever you want. Like whoever you want. It has nothing to do with me. The only thing I'm focusing on is my studies. That's it. Chloe's voice was icy. Fine, be stubborn. Let's see how long you can keep it up. With that, she turned on her heel and dramatically walked away. I opened my mouth, 100 retorts on my tongue, but all that came out was a single word, idiot. The next 2 months were surprisingly peaceful. Midterm grades came out quickly. Thank God, because I had been studying so hard all semester, my grades were solid. I had barely scraped by to get into college, but now I was one of the top students in my program. It was a quantum leap. A lot of other students were studying hard, too. It's just that a few had decided to completely check out, which made the rest of us look like overachievers. Hard work pays off. Ethan and Chloe's grades weren't as impressive as I'd imagined. They were barely passing. When Chloe heard I was on track to get a scholarship, she turned and gave me a few surprised looks. I ignored them all. Because I did so well, I was in a great mood. When I went home for winter break, my mom praised me. My baby is so smart. Keep up the good work. Then she asked about Chloe's grades. When she heard Chloe was barely passing, my mom was shocked. But she was such a good student in high school. What happened in college? I shook my head. I don't know, but I knew exactly what had happened. After my mom went to the kitchen to cook, I muttered under my breath. That's what happens when you let yourself go and make romance your top priority. People always say college is the time for romance, for two people to study together and plan a better future together. Chloe and Ethan were clearly just focused on the romance part. There was zero future planning involved. When the new semester started, Chloe looked awful. Ethan tried to talk to her a few times, but she acted like he was invisible. After class, Chloe cornered me by the water fountains in the dorm lounge. What did you say to my mom? How does she know about me and Ethan? Leo Keller, I never thought you'd stoop so low. You don't have the guts to sabotage us to our faces, so you do it behind our backs. I was stunned. Did my mom overhear what I said over the break and tell Chloe's mom? But I never even mentioned Ethan's name. Besides, it's not like parents usually interfere with their kids' college relationships. Why was she so mad? After a moment, I figured out the most likely scenario. Chloe's grades had slipped. Her mom probably asked her roommate about it and found out that she and Ethan had already rented an apartment off campus together. The comments were scrolling frantically. The side character makes his move. I knew he couldn't hold back forever. Everything before this was just him biding his time. This guy is so manipulative. Little does he know, the more obstacles our main couple faces, the stronger their love becomes. It will ignite their passion. Ignite their passion? I thought this was a cheesy romance, not some action anime. I said impatiently, Chloe, why are you asking me how your mom found out? Go ask your mom. And please, stop coming to me with your problems. If I wasn't clear enough before, I'll say it again. I don't like you. I want nothing to do with you. Got it. Chloe lifted her chin. Oomph. You think you can resist me? I felt a tightness in my chest. This was going to give me an ulcer. If I didn't genuinely love my major, I would have already applied for a transfer to a different department. Chloe seemed convinced I was the one who snitched on her and kept giving me these weirdly intense, meaningful looks. And Ethan suddenly moved back into the men's dorm. A comment popped up. Is the female lead kind of masochist? When the side character ignored her, she seemed so disappointed. Now that she suspects he still likes her, she's suddenly all fired up again. You just don't get it. The side character was her childhood friend, so there are obviously feelings there. But he can't compare to the male lead. A campus beauty like her has plenty of options. In the end, she'll stand by the male lead. I don't understand who writes these comments. Are they middle schoolers? They're so childish. But Chloe was even more childish. To save Ethan from eating processed cafeteria food, she would cook meals in their rented apartment every day and bring them to him. But she wouldn't give the food to Ethan directly. Instead, she kept asking me to deliver it to his dorm room. I had no idea what her game was. She has a phone. She could just text him. At noon, when Chloe asked me for the third time to take a container of food up to Ethan's room, I finally snapped. I took the food and walked straight to our academic advisor's office. The advisor looked up in surprise. Oh, is that for me? Chloe's eyes went wide. What are you doing? I said, Professor, this is a meal Chloe made in her off-campus apartment. She specifically asked me to deliver it to Ethan. The advisor, a sharp man, immediately picked up on the underlying information. He called Ethan into his office as well. In the end, Ethan confessed everything, that they were renting an apartment together and that their relationship had become physical. The professor glared at them both. You're only freshmen. Do you have any sense of responsibility? He told them both to call their parents. As I was leaving, I saw Ethan's face was beet red, while Chloe looked indignant. That should keep them out of trouble for a while. A few days later, Chloe's and Ethan's parents were called to campus. I heard Ethan's mom was a real piece of work. She stormed into the office, slapped Ethan hard across the face without a word, and then launched into a tirade against Chloe, blaming her for everything. Cooking meals every day, playing the good little daughter-in-law, trying to marry into our family. Are you? In your dreams. Even Chloe's mom, who was normally very mild-mannered, couldn't take it anymore. It was clearly your son who took advantage of my daughter. Ethan's mom sneered. Like mother, like daughter. I should have known. And this is a university? They'll let any riffraff in these days. The advisor tried to intervene. Mrs. Cole, please watch your language. This situation. Before he could finish, Ethan's mom yelled, Don't you dare talk to me. I haven't even started on you. The students are renting an apartment off campus, and that's a failure of your management. The advisor was speechless, and so the three women almost came to blows. I watched the comments stream by, all of them criticizing Ethan's mom for being unhinged and controlling, and I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. Weren't they just complaining that the plot was too boring? Well, use their drama. Walking out of that office building, the fresh air felt exceptionally sweet. 11 on the way back to my dorm, I noticed a girl on a bright yellow rental bike weaving back and forth in front of me. She was wearing a crop top that showed off her entire midriff, and her hair was a wild cascade of red curls. She was impossible to miss. I'd seen plenty of girls with similar styles on campus, but the way she was deliberately orbiting me was not normal. I finally sighed and asked, Can I help you? The girl tossed her hair and pointed at herself. Do you know who I am? I said, Instead of introducing yourself, you're asking if I know you. Why was I surrounded by such weird people? The girl looked embarrassed for a moment before saying, My name is Roxy Vance. Oh, so this was Roxy Vance. The story's female side character had finally made her appearance. 12, I remembered the comments mentioning that besides me, the male side character, there was also a female one. Just like the male sidekick in so many stories, Roxy was described as naive, wealthy, and beautiful, with the singular flaw of hating to study. She was in a club with Ethan, and after getting to know him, she developed a massive crush on him. After Ethan and Chloe got together, Roxy was devastated. In the original story, she briefly teamed up with me to try and break them up, but our attempts were useless and only ended up pushing the main couple closer together. In the end, Roxy's fate wasn't much better than mine. The comments said that after the male and female leads went abroad to live happily ever after, Roxy also went to the US for a useless master's degree, got caught in the crossfire of a random street conflict, and was tragically shot and killed. Damn rich people. Even our tragic endings were in different leagues. Hers sounded so much more dramatic than mine. What annoyed me more, though, was that the comments about me were always negative, while the comments about Roxy were full of praise. The devoted female side character who loves and loses is always the coolest. If I were the male lead, I'd just take them both. What's the big deal? The female side character is way more interesting, isn't she? She's beautiful, innocent, fun, and rich. So what do you want? Seeing these shallow, looks-obsessed comments, my tone came out a bit harsh. Roxy didn't seem to mind. She said nonchalantly, "I've asked around about you. You like Chloe, right? And you were the one who told the professor about them renting an apartment." I said, "No, don't spread rumors. That's not what happened." Roxy got closer, her voice confident. "Don't deny it. I did my research. You like Chloe, I like Ethan. Our goal is the same. Break them up. So what do you say we team up?" As she said this, the comments started updating again. The male lead is so lucky, having two beautiful girls fighting over him. Too bad the male side character is all talk. In the next chapter, he and the female side character try to cause trouble, but accidentally lock the main couple in the yoga studio, where they end up practicing advanced poses all night long. OMG, yes, that scene was so intense. The female lead could barely walk straight the next morning. A professor found them the next day. I can't wait to see it. I was completely dumbfounded. What kind of ancient, tropey teen drama was this? This wasn't some cheesy show from the 2000s. Everyone has a phone. What? Were both their phones going to die at the same time? Besides, even if two college students did that, it's not exactly a huge scandal, is it? I sighed and said to Roxy, "Have you ever heard the saying?" "What saying?" "You can win the war without ever firing a shot." Roxy tilted her head. "What war? What shot? You play Call of Duty too?" I dropped my head in despair. After a moment, I tried again. "What I mean is, even if we do nothing, I have a way to help you win Ethan back. Do you believe me?" Roxy's interest was immediately piqued. "Really? How? Tell me, tell me," she asked excitedly. Her excitement made her eyes look even bigger. "Honestly, I thought she was prettier than Chloe, with a kind of innocent charm." I said slowly and deliberately, "Let me ask you, in what way do you think you're not as good as Chloe?" Roxy scratched her head. "I don't know what she has that I don't. I mean, on paper, I crush her in every category." I sighed internally. "Actually, the only thing Chloe has on you is her grades. If you just study hard and stop failing so many classes, don't you think Ethan would be more likely to give you a chance?" Roxy tilted her head, looking like a confused little squirrel. She said, "That kind of makes sense, but we're in college. Who actually studies?" I spoke like a wise old mentor. "You'll need knowledge to take over your family's business, won't you? Life is precious, but love is priceless. Isn't fighting for your love and your career worth the effort? The more you chase after Ethan, the less he'll respect you. But if you stop chasing him and instead work hard in the background, improving yourself bit by bit, and then reappear as this amazing, successful person, he'll naturally see you in a new light." My voice was laced with temptation. "If you confess to him, then he might just say yes." Roxy's eyes lit up with understanding. "Oh my God, I get it. That's the strategy you're using right now, isn't it?" "What do I do?" "She's really not the sharpest tool in the shed," I said quietly. "I'm not interested in Chloe. Anyway, what you do is your choice. I just think it's better to improve yourself than to waste time trying to cause trouble for them." Roxy thought for a long time. "You have a point. Okay, I'll find you when I have time to study. You've gotten scholarships, right? You can tutor me, no problem." With that, the girl hopped on her bike and disappeared from sight. Me? Why on earth would I tutor her? That evening, I got a friend request from Roxy. I thought about it for a second and accepted. Her situation wasn't great either. I felt a strange sense of kinship with her. I might as well help her avoid the tragic, and the comments predicted. If she graduated with a real degree, her family probably wouldn't send her to the US, and she could avoid that whole getting shot incident. In the days that followed, I started hanging out with Roxy a lot. In her words, while my grades weren't the absolute best in the year, I was more than qualified to tutor her. So, every day after my classes, I would spend an hour tutoring Roxy. Roxy, not wanting to take advantage, insisted on paying me $300 an hour. Her sense of fairness and not taking people for granted was 1,000 times better than Chloe's. In 1 month, I made over $8,000. Chloe and Ethan were removed as course representatives, so I no longer had to deal with them in the advisor's office. My world was finally quiet. While my life was calm and productive, Chloe and Ethan's was anything but. Between Ethan's mother and 1,000 other little things, they were constantly fighting, breaking up, and getting back together. Chloe would often look at me with this resentful expression, and I had no idea what she wanted from me. The comments would pop up from time to time. I think the female lead is having second thoughts. Anyone would be stressed out dealing with a future mother-in-law like that. If you compare their parents, the side character's mom is way kinder and more reasonable. She and the female lead's mom get along well, too. They definitely have a more harmonious family life. They say the childhood friend never wins against the new guy, but the childhood friend is the one with a real emotional foundation. Once the initial excitement wears off, the female lead will remember how good the side character was to her. Besides, there are plenty of stories where the underdog side character makes a comeback. I agree with the comment above. The side character is playing it smart. Isn't there a saying, seeing others clearly is clever, but seeing yourself clearly is wisdom? No. The male lead has been controlled by his mom his whole life. He's so pitiful. All he wants is for someone to escape with him. The female lead can't give up on him now. The tone of the comments had completely shifted. Now, at least half of them were on my side. I guess they had seen my hard work and the changes I'd made. By the time graduation was approaching, I had won multiple scholarships. I was on track to land a great job. I was ecstatic, filled with hope for the future. Roxy's grades had also been steadily improving, which completely shocked her academic advisor. Who would have thought that this airhead art student could stage such a comeback? Roxy was overjoyed. She told me, "My dad has been so nice to me lately. He even said that if I get my diploma, he'll let me take over the company." Wow, becoming a CEO right after graduation. That's some serious power. I patted her on the shoulder. "Keep it up. You're almost there. When you get it, how are you going to thank me?" Roxy suddenly blushed and said, "How do you want me to thank you?" What was she getting embarrassed about? "A big fat check will be just fine." 15 to motivate Roxy further, I said, "Oh, and I have some good news for you." Her eyes lit up. "What is it?" "Your crush, Ethan, is about to be single again." I had gleaned this from the comments recently. Chloe and Ethan hadn't spoken in a long time. They were fighting constantly. Chloe's grades had plummeted to the bottom of the class, and their relationship, which had started with a bang, was now fizzling out into a mess of resentment. Roxy just stared at me, looking dumbfounded. "Huh? What do you mean, huh?" I said. "Have you forgotten your original goal? Just keep working hard, get good grades, and then confess to Ethan. Your chances of success will be super high." Roxy looked at me uncomfortably, her stare so intense it made my skin crawl. After a long moment, she said sullenly, "Thanks for your concern." "No problem, anytime," I said magnanimously. Then I pulled out a textbook. "All right, enough small talk. Time to study." Roxy. 16 for dinner that night. Roxy took me to a Michelin-starred restaurant. I didn't hold back. I ordered 5 servings of caviar. After dinner, Roxy insisted on walking me back to my dorm. I kept telling her she didn't have to, but she was adamant. She'd been acting very attentive lately. Just then, a comment popped up in the air. "I like this side couple way more than the main one." Yeah, especially since the male side character has no idea that the female side character doesn't like the male lead anymore and has fallen for him. Yes, this is the best part of a relationship, that ambiguous phase right before they confess their feelings. Whoa. Because Chloe and Ethan's relationship was on the rocks, the comments had mostly been saying bad review or dropping this story, and had been quiet for a while. Their sudden reappearance was blinding. "Roxy likes me? Is that for real?" My expression must have been one of pure shock, because Roxy asked with concern, "Leo, are you okay?" I shook my head numbly. I'm Fina. If you're not feeling well, just tell me, she said, worried. I'll take you to a hotel. No, I mean the hospital. Oh, really? I'm fine. Right before I went into my dorm building, Roxy suddenly called out, Leo. Yeah. She looked shy, but her eyes were shining brightly. After graduation, there's someone I want to confess to, but it's not Ethan. After saying that, Roxy's face turned so red it looked like it was about to catch fire. Before I could even process what she'd said, she turned and ran off. Watching her retreating figure, she seemed so cheerful, even humming a little tune. This girl, really? Just then, a figure stepped out from the shadows. Leo Keller? What are you doing hanging out with Roxy Vance? It was Chloe. Seeing the suspicion and confusion on her face, I didn't say anything and just headed up the stairs. Chloe followed right behind me, unwilling to let it go. You're not dating her, are you? Do you have any idea she's obsessed with Ethan? I turned around and saw a flash of jealousy, urgency, and anxiety cross Chloe's face. That has nothing to do with you, I said flatly. Chloe cleared her throat and said seriously, Leo, stay away from her. She's just using you to get to Ethan. She definitely has ulterior motives for getting close to you. That was a bizarre thing to say. I turned back to face her. Who Roxy likes is none of my business, and it's none of yours either. Stop meddling in other people's lives. She was on the verge of flunking out, and she had the time to worry about this? As I started to walk away, Chloe quickly grabbed my hand. Leo, don't go. Why won't you answer my texts? I have so much I want to tell you. I forcefully pull my hand away. If you have something to say it. If not, don't waste my time. Chloe hesitated for a moment before saying softly, Leo, I regret it. ? 17 Chloe looked at me deeply, her voice barely a whisper. Leo, actually, the person I like is you. I've had a lot of time to think, and Ethan isn't right for me. We're the ones who are meant to be. I've seen how hard you've worked and how much you've changed, and I know you did it all for me. Me? I've heard of confident people, but this was a whole new level of delusion. Seeing me speechless, Chloe pressed on. Leo, I know you were angry that I was with another guy. I get it now. I admit it, I lost. I broke up with Ethan, and you're the only one I like. Let's be together. Our parents would be so happy. I held up a hand. Stop. Just stop talking. Any more of this, and I was going to be sick. Chloe persisted. Leo, I'm serious. I said, shut up. Don't you understand English? I yelled. Chloe. I looked at the rolling comments in the air. Every single one was a negative review of Chloe. Her character had completely collapsed. Was this really the same sunny girl next door I used to have a crush on? I took a deep breath and said coldly, Chloe, don't you dare say you like me. You have never liked me. You just can't stand the fact that your personal doormat suddenly grew a spine and walked away. I don't know what happened between you and Ethan, but I know he never changed. You were the one who changed. You're the one who's picky, indecisive, selfish, and completely lacking in morals. Chloe's eyes turned red, as if she couldn't bear my accusations. Leo, how can you say that about me? After all these years we've known each other, is that really what you think of me? I laughed coldly. I'm being polite. Chloe looked heartbroken and hurt. Leo, you were never like this before. You used to do whatever I asked. I asked you to get me breakfast, and you brought it to me for 3 years straight. I asked you to go buy me a drink in the blistering sun, and you did it without a single complaint. You used to like me, so why did you change the second we got to college? Hearing her list my past deeds made me want to go back in time and strangle my former self. Because I was blind before, and now I can see. Is that a good enough reason for you? I shouted. This girl was a lunatic. Chloe's voice was full of resentment. No, that's not it. You just fell for Roxy Vance. You have the nerve to call me picky and fickle when you're the one who moved on to someone else. Faced with such an absurd accusation, I laughed out of sheer anger. Fina, you're right. Everything you say is right. We have nothing more to talk about. Seeing that I was completely unmoved, Chloe yelled at my back. What's so great about Roxy Vance? She's nothing but a spoiled rich girl with a bad attitude. I sneered. Roxy isn't just rich. She's also gorgeous and has an incredible figure. Not only that, but she's also sincere, kind, humble, willing to listen to advice, and she's constantly working to improve herself. Compared to you, she has countless good qualities. She was a little naive, sure, But what was wrong with being a little naive? It was in that moment that I realized it. I did like Roxy, probably a little more than a little. Now, seeing the gentle, sweet expression on my face, Chloe's voice was filled with pain. Leo, you really don't like me anymore. I nodded seriously. Yeah, I don't. A good relationship makes you happy. A bad one makes you miserable. Chloe was the beginning of my misery. No matter how much I might like someone, it's not worth sacrificing my own life for them. Seeing how firm I was, the color drained from Chloe's face. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Just you wait. I'll win you back. Whatever you say, if she wanted to keep beating this dead horse, there was nothing I could do about it. 18, the look of disdain in my eyes must have been too obvious, because Chloe's face finally crumpled in despair. She stumbled backward a few steps, nearly falling over. I left her with one final piece of advice before walking away. If you have any sense left, you should do some serious self-reflection. After packing my things and heading home, my mom asked, "Why are you back so early from school?" It was because I couldn't stand the thought of seeing Chloe again. I never kept secrets from my parents, so I gave them a short version of what had happened. My parents sighed. We watched that girl grow up. How did she go so off track? I smiled. Who cares about her? As long as I didn't go off track, that's all that matters, right? My parents both laughed. A little while later, my mom came into my room with a mysterious look on her face and placed a box in my hands. Go on, open it. What is it? I tore off the wrapping paper and saw a brand new laptop inside. I jumped, looking at my parents in surprise. I told you I didn't need one. According to the floating comments, this laptop was the start of my tragedy. My mom smiled gently and ruffled my hair. I was promoted to store manager this month, and your dad got a new route that pays more. Our income has gone up. So, we wanted to get this for you, as a reward for all your hard work and how much you've improved. My dad was beaming. You wanted this laptop back when you were a freshman, didn't you? My son is so considerate, he never even brought it up again. But I always remembered, and I wanted to make your wish come true. Are you happy? Tears welled up in my eyes. I was so moved I could barely speak. I am. I'm so happy. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. My parents were the best in the world. This gesture was worth more than any amount of money. The three of us hugged each other tightly. The truth is, I had been terrified of the future the comments described. I'm an only child, the sole focus of all my parents' hopes and dreams. If I had really let myself be destroyed over something so trivial, how could I ever face them? I was so scared of them growing old with no one to rely on. That fear was what gave me the strength to change. Over the past few years, I wouldn't say I was reborn, but I was definitely a new person. And I was incredibly proud of the person I had become. There's an old saying about having grand ambitions and seizing the world. Life isn't just about love and romance. There's a whole wide world out there, full of infinite possibilities. And I was so glad I figured that out just in time. Epilogue: after graduation, I passed the civil service exam and landed a stable, well-paying job at a major bank. My whole family was over the moon. I had successfully changed my fate. I could finally breathe a sigh of relief. To be honest, after my parents bought me that new laptop, I was secretly worried it had some kind of curse on it that would turn me back into the toxic side character from the comments. Thankfully, I stayed vigilant and held on to the person I had become. On another note, Ethan did well for himself too. After he and Chloe broke up, he seemed to have a wake-up call. He started focusing on his studies, and his grades slowly improved. His future ended up being pretty similar to what the comments had predicted. It just goes to show, stay away from toxic people and love yourself. The most tragic one was Chloe. After I rejected her, she fell into a spiral of self-pity, completely gave up, and failed so many classes that she didn't even bother with retakes. In the end, she didn't have enough credits to graduate. My mom told me that Chloe was at home, begging her parents to use their connections to get her a job at the bank. Her parents refused, and apparently, the house was a war zone. The most surprising outcome was Roxy's. She improved so rapidly that she didn't fail a single class and graduated with her degree. Roxy's dad was so happy he was crying, shouting about divine intervention and blessings from the ancestors. He immediately made her a VP at the family company. The first thing she did was happily transfer all her personal and company accounts to our bank. My branch manager was ecstatic. He kept slapping me on the back, telling me I was a great asset and knew how to pick a girlfriend. On the day, everything felt like it had fallen into place. Roxy shyly came to find me. Leo, will you be my boyfriend? I teased her. Ethan's a good guy. Are you sure you're not looking for him? Roxy panicked. No, I'm not. The person I like is you. I realized I liked you a long time ago. I held back a smile. You'd fall for any guy who tutors you. I'm not so sure I can trust that. Roxy immediately held up her hand as if taking an oath. I promise. From now on, you're the only one who can tutor me. You winks here. Really? Really? Cross my heart. Leo, stop teasing me. You're making me anxious. Can we get married? Of course. Will you cook for me? Of course. I'll stick to you like glue forever. I'll think about it. You still have to think about it. Aya, stop torturing me. All right, Fine. You're so naive. I can't trust you with anyone else. I guess I'll reluctantly take you. Leo, you mean it? Wow, you're my boyfriend now. Yup, and you're my girlfriend.